How you doing, everybody? Hi, Tony. Oh man. Um. Oh wait until people come. I didn't give very much notice. I have been just sort of drowning in lots of stuff. So bear with me, and I'll fill you in on everything I can about getting this group watch. Hi, Watch and Pray. How you doing, Bruce? Um, so anyway, hi, Nico. Um, I'll talk about that. I'll wait for more people to come. Uh, Excuse me. While I'm waiting, any kinds of questions that you guys have about anything that relating to watches? What? Hi, Donald. How you doing? Victor. Hi, Victor. The I there's so many things going on. Oh, sound's not very good. Uh-oh. Is sound any better now? Clyde? No, huh? Gee whiz, that's funny. Hmm. Okay. So bad sound. Let me try this. Okay, I took off my microphone. Okay, sound is okay on your end. Okay. Now I disconnected my little mic here. Hi, Indrajit. Does that help the sound, Clyde, on yours? Okay. Okay. That's funny. This usually provides better sound, but so it's unplugged now, so I have to worry about it. Oh boy, uh, there is so much going on that uh, needs to be juggled, and I don't know. Let me ask you something. Hi, Patrick. The Does anybody know if there's any kind of bank holiday in Europe on Monday? Here in the U.S., we have Labor Day, and so all of the banks are closed. And so the reason I'm asking this is that I want to get the contact person that we're going to have for the dial and hands as well as the case. And if it's a holiday in Europe, uh, need to know that. Hey, Nabil, how you doing? Okay, yeah, I'm glad you got it too. Hi, Z gang. I hope I didn't hurt the pronunciation of your. Monday is not a bank holiday in Switzerland. Good news. Oh, that's great. So that means probably the other businesses are going to be open. What I have to do, and I'll talk more about this when I meet with the people who are already in the group on tomorrow. We'll have a live thing. I think the last one we had worked, but messed up a lot of other stuff with my YouTube, and I think I figured out a way to do it. Hi, Junior. How you doing, man? So, okie doke. Oh, it's only 3 minutes in. I got started on time, but gee, my announcements just went out, so I'm sort of behind the eight ball a little on that. One other thing I want to talk about, and this applies to everyone, is that we're having our Grand Prix picks, and this is for those of you who want to go to the Grand Prix GPHG. Let me write this down for those who aren't familiar with it. Grand Prix GPHG.org. Okay, this is the oops link to the Hey, John, how you doing, man? Okay. gphd.org. You can see all the competitive watches there. And then if you go to the Grand Prix Picks Facebook page, check in there and take and enter the ones you think are going to win the different categories. You might want to watch. I was showing one of our watch prizes this morning. Let me see if I haven't already. Yeah, here it is. So bring this out. This is one of the watches that we're going to be. That's one of our prize watches that we have, and it's a chronograph, and comes on a metal bracelet, and it even comes with a link remover. So this is one of the prizes we have, and then we have another one that's not a that's not. Let me put it back. That's not a chronograph, but it's just a regular watch that looks a lot like that. And then we have some, those are the two mechanical watches, and I have some quartz watches too. So lots of awards, but we'll be giving out 3. So you have a pretty decent chance of winning. But anyway, the last day you can enter that is going to be, let me check my calendar here. It's going to be Tuesday. Tuesday's the deadline for that. So that's important. That's the 7th. Do the micro brands send you watches for free in the hopes you'll talk about them? A lot of them aren't micro brands. What it is, Forbin, number of years ago, God, it must be going on 4 or 5 years now. Maybe God, it was well before I retired. I got a note from Amazon, and they said, "Hey, how would you like to be one of our on what they call Amazon Vine?" Now, at the time, I was buying books like mad from Amazon, and so I said, "Yeah, that'd be great. I'll review all these books," and then I got to keep them. And so I started reviewing all of these books, and since I like to read just for pleasure, and then they started adding more and more and more and more stuff. Some of a lot of the watches that they have, they're not micro brands. I don't know what you'd call them. One they had was from was a Swiss watch. This other one I have is also a Swiss watch, but they're not expensive ones. They're all under $500, but they're not micro brands in one sense. But they're not expensive, and they're certainly not luxury watches. Okay, that's the information on that. Okay, let me. Any questions about entering the Grand Prix Picks? Is you just go to the Grand Prix Picks Facebook page and check in there, and then you'll see all of the entries. By the way, too, it's the way it works is on a first come, first win serve. So if you have identical choices as somebody else, one who put them in first will win in case of a tie, and that's happened before. So we're sort of short on time. This is one of those years that everything. Oh, I mean, we couldn't start it until they had the competitive watches, and the competitive watches just came out a week or so ago, and so now we've got they're going to be closing that pretty soon, and so we've got to have we were sort of put in a vice in terms of the window we had to have our contest. But anyway, people have entered and stuff, and it's always fun to see somebody win. Okay, I can't win, but I will enter just to see how I do. Some years I do great, otherwise, other years I don't. So don't don't take my choices as any indication of anything because I'm like the rest of you. I don't know who's going to win and who isn't going to win. Okie doke. Let me tell you where we are on the watch that we're the group watch. Monday, Labor Day, is sort of the closing day I'm going to have for anybody else joining it. And the reason is that we're talk about a vice. I opened up an account on Thursday so that we'd have a place that you could transfer funds to. And it takes some, they said, well, it may take a couple days. Well, it's Saturday, and I'm hoping that pretty quick they're going to, everyone is going to be able to send in what we need. And I on the in our group page where we have secure communication, I've begun to provide the information for sending funds. Oh boy, this is turn them off. There's a robocall. Usually I put that thing in the other room and I forgot. Forgive me. Okay. Anyway, if you are interested in joining the group, send me an email. I'll provide you with a link we're using WhatsApp for communication because it's secure communication. And then I'll provide you with the rest of the information. Okay, now we have the movement. What type of level of finish and pricing options are there for it? We don't have it yet, Warren, in the sense that the things that we'd need to know for the finishing level. Let me explain why. There's all this stuff they have to do to get ready so that we can, get a better idea of what we're going to get. And one of the things, I don't know if you remember this, but early on, we had taken the side of the watch and tried to break it down. I mean, just graphically break it down into several finger bridges. And by having these finger bridges, you can sort of opens up the movement so you can see more of the movement. Now, at the time, I think we were thinking, well, the movement, the small seconds were going to be at, I don't know. Yeah, no, that was when we thought the small seconds were going to be at 8 o'clock. But we weren't sure exactly where. Now, they may or may not be able to do that with breaking down the bridges the way we ask and keep it within an amount that we can afford. Now, if they are, there are more. If we do get the finger bridges, like I hope we do, not only will it look cool, but there are more sides for the ongles, the beveling. So it's not that it becomes a little more complex. Once they have it done, I will definitely ask them about that. What level they have. I know that what we have right now, and this was in the thing that they sent us. So we set something up in writing. So was Perlage and Geneva waves. These are sort of the boilerplate part of it. But I know we're not going to end up with some Panerai 318 kind of movement, but the different levels of finishing is something that we're going to have to, once they actually start working on the movement. Right now what they have to do, and this is where we're trying to get in the first payment pronto, is because they're going to a meeting. There's a meeting with all of the suppliers and stuff. And if they have the specs, and by the specs, I mean sort of the general thing that we've asked for, uh, they'll be able to provide more information at that and then show us an actual movement. What we have now, Warren, is that uh, we have a sort of like a, I guess I don't want to call it a blueprint, but it's something like that. I think there's a CAD name for it of some sort. And what we'll be doing is what we've seen is sort of like, okay, here's an Agonor base movement that we've asked to be added to and transformed. And that's, we do now have our own movement number 6801. It's AGH 6801. So things are going along pretty well on that thing. But in terms of the level of finishing will depend on the number of sides and edges. If we get a bunch of big plates with, like a couple little rims for them to finish, that shouldn't cost too much. I don't know if it's this, as we go down this rabbit hole, there are more and more interesting things that we have to consider. And to me, it's fascinating, but it can be very challenging too at the same time. Warren, does that answer your question? I'm having this has been fairly complex and yet I think really fun for a lot of us doing this. Plus the fact that we're gonna, having a bespoke movement by someone like Agenhor is just wild. I think. I mean, it's like, yeah, that's going to be cool. And what they're else they're going to do, this is what I'm going to have to hop onto on Monday, is that I got to get a hold of both some person at Metalem and the person I had initially contacted at Rutenlanen and Kalen, and so to get a name for them to set up a meeting with Agenor at this show that they're having. I call it a CES show because that's where all of the parts people and the so forth get together, and huge show. I can imagine this show in what's it like in Switzerland for watch parts and making watches and everything from, screws to bluing, everything unimaginable. And so the good part, the super fortunate part of this is that our timing couldn't be better as far as that's concerned. So that's another good thing. Okay, Warren. To the US, it's really great. It's like 1.5%. It's hardly anything. The shipping costs, we'll have to figure that out. How that's, when I had something shipped to me from Geneva from Sotheby's, I won a Sotheby's auction and won, I guess. I had to pay for it. On the Sotheby's auction, man, they charged me like $250 or something like that to ship a single watch. Now, the thing of it was or is that that thing went through customs without a problem. I mean, usually there's something that they want, but they had all of the information that customs normally asks for, and it was a very smooth transaction. Again, what you're asking about is the tail of the dog right now. We're barely at the front part, but I figure about $200 roughly. And so you can figure out 1.5% as well as I can on what it would cost on that. Hi, Javi, how you doing, man? So it's the kind of thing, like this is, some people want some kind of detail, like they're buying a watch from some Swiss watch company, or like you go down to an AD. It's not that at all. This is much more complex. and I wish it were simpler than that. And we're not going to have a fancy case or anything like that. The one that I just showed you guys with the leather covered and all of this good stuff, none of that. They'll send it in. I don't care what they send it in, as long as we get it in one piece. I have these. Let me show you. This doesn't look very pretty, but this is an incredibly good shipping case for watches, and it's boy, you can't even see it. It's there. It is. You can. It's full of bubble wrap, and it's light, and so you can keep down the cost of it. I don't care if they put it in something like this. I don't care if they put it in something that looks like a coffin. For all I care, I just want to get it and well put together. But see, this is the other thing too. That's one sort of the end again. Back at the end of the tail of the dog. What we've got to do now, Warren, is we got to get the first payment to them for what they call the pre-study. And this is basically it keeps out the hoi polloi, so to speak. So so they're not going and doing all of this work, and people say, "Yeah, never mind." If the never mind is going to cost them 5,000 Swiss franc. Now, the way we have it divided up, it's not going to be bad at all. Hi, Thomas. How you doing, man? So, okay. Other questions of how this whole thing is going together. Oh yeah, I think I may have mentioned my bank account. I opened the bank account on Thursday, and I probably I wish I thought of using an existing one, and I talked to my bank, and they said no. And I'm using one of my corporate. It's a LLC. I think what they call it, LLC. Incorporated company that I have. Mainly I use it for consulting and so on and so forth. But it's handy for a lot of different things. I once used it I bought just a big load of Chinese what are they called, flash drives at one time, and it was it's for all different kinds of things. And I have it registered, and I pay taxes on it every year. That I get a little note from the state of Connecticut saying, this is what you owe. Not to mention the local people, they want to know about my inventory. Most of it's digital. Anyway, so that thing is set up. So I had to set up a separate. I didn't want to make them mad, put it that way, because they don't like me to use savings as sort of an in and out thing. So on that. Okay, so that's where we are on that, and like I said, there's a lot of the after Monday. We're not going to add anybody new, just because it's we have to have a sort of draw the line somewhere, and it's going to be on Monday, because then somebody comes in later and everybody else has paid all of these early fees. Oh, they want in. Well, it's too late. So, and I'm not being nasty about it. I'm just trying to keep it so that we can keep this boat afloat and keep it going. And then we're doing pretty well right now. Hi, Hans. How are you doing? Good to see you. All right. What else is going on? This is why another thing. The whole thing has been very complex. I was at a live Zoom meeting with Parmigiani was talking about their new watches that they have, and sort of they have a new CEO, and somebody was telling me he used to be CEO of something else, and so he really knows about watches, and they seem to have been taking a very different track. I have two Parmigianis, and I love them both. But apparently, not a whole lot of other people do too. So they just say, "Well, we're going to change the sort of the look and feel of it," and so that's what they're doing, and they do look very good. If you want to get also too, this is another big thing they're doing. they're taking off their name, and so instead of having Parmigiani Fleurier, they're just going to have PF. I thought it was sort of funny. Just, little PF logo. It's sort of cool, but it's a very clean looking watches. Really nice guilloche on them. Can you have a non-live Zoom meeting? Oh, Hans, don't ask me complicated questions. I don't know. Um, I guess not. Uh, okay. Jesus. All right. Anything else? Let me see what else is going on. PF makes me think of PF Flyers, the old sneaker brand. Uh, yeah, that too. Donald, what do you think you'll send out the banking information? I've already started doing it, Donald. There's what I did is that I asked my bank, I said, just what do people need to know to transfer some funds into this account? They gave it to me. I wrote it down and put it on a sheet. One of our members is a very experienced retired banker, and he's also been helping out too and giving me some ways that may make it easier for everyone and less expensive, which is great for me. But right now, for the first time out, we got to get this out so that they have the funds so that they can go ahead with all of these things that has to get done initially. And then there'll be the bigger one that will roughly be about $1,000 a piece. And then finally, we'll have the movement. And I think I may have mentioned this before. My original idea was that we just get the parts and maybe get a break on customs and a lot of other things, and instead of getting a whole watch. Well, a lot of people pointed out, say that's nuts. I don't know how to put a watch together, and I was thinking, well, you go down to a local watchmaker, and all they got to do is bip bip bip, and it's just what, 4 parts: the the dial, the hands, the movement, and the case, and Bob's your uncle. But a lot of people felt uncomfortable about that. So I talked to Aganor about it. They said, no problema. we'll put it together for you. So this may be another little bump we have, but I think everybody would feel better about it. And it solves a problem that I was thinking of, and that is that, how do we get the movement over to Butenland and Kalen so they can, because they have to, these are like made for the movement rather than, some off the shelf movement plus an off the shelf case that goes with the movement. And we're getting 39 millimeters. I don't know how most of my see, they go 38, 42, 40, things like that. But 39 is a good one. It's just sort of one of those things that on the Goldilocks scale, it's just right, at least according to the people that we talk to here. Okay, what else is going on? Watch Week. Any new and exciting watches in Geneva's Watch Week? I think it's called Watch Week. That you guys have noticed that you go, oh wow, that's really neat. There was one that they had on Arnold and Sons that I was invited to, but it was at 5 o'clock in the morning my time, and I just couldn't make it. So anyway, I made the other one now. Any other things that you've noticed that look fairly interesting this year with the new watches coming out? I was really impressed with Parmigiani because this last year has been really rough on everybody with the pandemic and just some one thing or another. They can't get the materials because everybody with the crud, something happened to them, something like that. I don't know. Okay. Well, our time's about up. if there's anything else, you can always you can post things with where they have the YouTube for your comments and things like that. So, okay, everybody, take care. Where's my mask? Wear your mask, or if you don't want to wear a mask, wear a veil. Take care, everyone. We'll see you. Hey, Victor. Oh, okay. Chopek. Yeah. Oh, Chopek wrote the photograph. That does sound exciting. See you later.